playing a style. Some mistakes in there I can fix them later on, but just to give you an idea. Here we go. See, in the style, I can play whatever I want. Pattern. Good day and welcome to this new presentation of the KETRON SD9. Now, we are going to venture into some uncharted waters. And what do I mean by that? This video is actually dedicated to professional workstation musicians. In other words, people who want to create music from scratch. Now, we do know that most of the fundamental tools that are available on the arranger are predominantly for, producing or working with existing tracks and existing content. But what about if you want to create your own? Like if you were to go to the studio to make your own song? Well, we're going to take you back in time to what we used to call pattern-based sequencing. Most of you who are out there who are professional musicians will probably relate to this terminology. Once upon a time, there was a time indeed when artists and musicians, all they had to do was just sing and play using their equipment. But as you all know today, you kind of have to have a degree in computer engineering to be able to produce music, right? Well, not really true anymore. With the KETRON product, this particular one example, and the same for the SD7, you can actually produce your music right here on this workstation. And how are we going to do that? Well, back to the pattern-based terminology. So remember, when we were creating tracks back in those days with pattern-based sequencing, what would happen is you would, most of the time when you're trying to write a song, what comes to your head first is the vamp, or what you would say the chorus, right? And you will record that. And then from that, you will build other segments of your song. So you can be able to build, the verse, maybe an intro, an outro. Well, guess what? We're about to do that right now on the KETRON SD9, okay? Now, in order to keep up with the terminology, I am going to be using the terminology that we are associated with the recordings of back in those days, right? So when you look at the buttons here, for example, when you're playing a style or an arranger keyboard, arranger A, B, C, D, we're now going to use these as our patterns. And so I'm going to be able to create patterns in A, in B, in C, and in D. Now, this video could go on to be a lengthy one, but I'm going to try to summarize it because it's going to have a lot of details as to some of the features that we can use in the machine to create those patterns, okay? Now, for the person who plays the guitar or the accordion or a keyboard, how does that benefit you on stage? Well, today, everyone is playing with tracks, right? So we're going to try to create our own tracks on this machine, and I can show you how that's going to benefit you on stage. So on the stage, all you're doing is playing along with your own track that you created, okay? So all you have to simply do is hit A, B, C, or D, or even the intros or the endings, and just recall your material. But how do you program your stuff in there from scratch? Come on and follow me. So now we have the SD90. We're going to go ahead and create our own patterns, okay? So I'm going to make up a song, and that song has different segments. It has an intro, maybe a verse, a chorus, and an outro, or what we'll call an ending. I'm going to go into view here, and I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to create this new style. So I'm going to call it's a new style, but for the professionals, you're going to be referring to this as a new song, okay? So I want to make a new song. Yes, I can proceed with this. I'm going to have a name of my song. I'm going to call this, for the sake of the demonstration, let's just call this demo song, okay? So this is my song that I want to create. I'm going to call it demo song and hit enter. And demo song is right there. So right now I'm working in my parameters, okay? So this tells me the drum kit for my song, it tells me the groove part, the bass, and I have 5 tracks I can work with in real time, all right? So look at this as you know, when you go to your DAW, you have your 16 tracks of your MIDI file, right? The difference is that when you're recording in the DAW, you record linearly, right? So you do the bass track from start until finish. Then you do the bass, the drums, you know, the different parts from start. So it's mostly linear. Now, of course, you can do pattern bass also by going in, you know, and cutting and pasting and everything else. But I want to show you how you can leave the computer at home, leave the laptop at home, produce your song on here, and take this to the stage and sound like a live backing band. So when you go into the recording mode, into the pattern recording mode, the first thing you want to do is you want to set up the specific parameters for your pattern, right? So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to make this very, very simple and short. So I'm going to go into my parameters, and what I want to do is a 4/4 signature. Yes. So I can do a 3/4 if I wanted to. Okay, this is where you set everything up, or a 5/4 or 6/8. I want to do a 4/4. Okay. Now the tempo, of course, remember, sometimes it's easier to record at a slower tempo, and then you can get all your parts accurately. And then when you're now in production, or when you're in play mode, you can speed up the tempo. So I like to take it nice and slow at 85 for an example. Okay. So I'm going to do that. For the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to use 4 bars. I can go as high as, let's see, 125, 126. So that means that I can have 126 measures in A, 126 in B, 126 in C, 126 in D. All right. But let's not get too much now. Let's just keep it at 4 for now for the sake of time. All right. So I'm going to keep it at 4. Okay. So I'm going to record this pattern based off of the key of C. Yes, I want to hear my click track, which is going to guide me. That's my metronome. And I want to put that pretty high so I can hear exactly what's going on, and it'll keep me in time. Okay. I'm going to put that at 45 for now. Okay. Is everyone with me so far? Okay. You can always pause and record. Like I said, it's going to be pretty lengthy, but I think I have to do this detail to express and to show you exactly the power of this machine. Okay. Now I can also export these parts as MIDI files, and I can then go into my DAW and even add more stuff. But I want to keep everything simple on this machine right here for the most part. So let's continue. I'm in arranger A. I'm going to record pattern A. Okay. So for the sake of this video, we're going to now call this pattern. I'm going to record pattern A. It's going to be a 4/4 signature at that tempo. Okay. And the settings I have right now are global, which means that these apply to A, B, C, and D. If I go to single, I can set up specific parameters, which would just be specific to the particular pattern. So maybe in pattern A, I want a 3/4 signature, okay? And then in pattern B, I want a 4/4, and maybe here I want a 12/8 for the same song, okay? Remember, we're creating one song, but it's going to be broken down into different segments or different sections or different patterns, which I can also link, where, you know, and I'll talk to you about that later on. So let's keep it simple again. Go back to global, and I want to set these parameters for the entire song for all my different pattern parts. Okay, so I think we're cool and we're done with this page. So I'm going to exit now and get back to my tracks. So that's my drum. Okay, that's my standard drum set. So if I go into the recording mode, which is light red, I can actually test out the different drum parts. Okay, I hope everyone is with me so far. Good. Okay, so now these are live samples. Okay, and I can now record my drum. But what if I don't want this particular drum set? I can touch that for 2 seconds, and that's the case with most of the operation system in terms of the SD90, SD40, 7, 9, and what have you. When you touch and hold for a length of time, it then gives you access to a different selections that you can select for that particular track in most cases. Okay, so let's say in this case I don't want to use a standard drum set. I wanted to use, let's see, a techno, or maybe standard number 2, or acoustic. Okay, let's go with the acoustic drum set for now. Okay, and if you notice, these are multi-layer samples. Okay, so depending on the velocity, you can also trigger different samples, or you can combine, all right, and have the unit play and sound much more realistic. So now we're about to record the drum track, and that's the volume of the drum track right there. Let's make it 117. Okay, and we're about to record the drum track of pattern A. Okay, and I have my metronome, which is here called click. It's going to be 1 out of 4, so it's going to start from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's a 4 measure long pattern, and my tempo is at 85. Okay, so here we go. When I hit start, it's going to give me a 4 measure count, and then anything I play or press after that gets recorded. So here we go. So we have the drum and kick in there. I want to hear how this, sorry, the kick and snare in there. I want to hear how they sound. Okay, not too accurate, but I'll get to that later. Let me add the hi-hats and the other parts of my drum kit. So again, as you notice, I can play and I can test it right here in this mode. Gives me an idea, right? I can play along, but let me get back into my recording mode. Okay, light red over there, and I'm going to add a couple of hi-hats and stuff. So here we go. Now, I'm no expert drummer, but let's come in close, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that and make it even sound better. So let's test it out. Okay, sounds good. You see that little guy over there called quantize, right? So I'm going to quantize this now. What does that do? It actually shifts my notes in appropriately. So if you were to imagine I had the kick, the snare, and the hi-hat, what you want to pick is the instrument that has the most number of notes within a measure, okay? So then you're going to count it within a measure. For example, what's the smallest number that's going to be closest to the maximum number of notes you have in it, so it can quantize and shift them into the appropriate place. If you notice, when I was here, it's going to be, so if I count from 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 16 notes, okay? I have the maximum number of notes within that measure I can put in comfortably. In this case, so the highest number was 16. So I'm going to quantize this with a value of 16, okay? Now, I can set, different quantized values, or I can put it real. If I put it on real, what that means is do not quantize, leave it the way it is. I may intentionally want to have it off beat, which if you think about it, that's what the live drummer would do, right? They don't play that accurately on the measures, but we're going to keep it at 16, and then you can hear the difference. So if I execute this right now at 16, when I go back and play this, AJ became a professional drummer. So that's the quantization, okay? And now if you notice, it sounds a little bit better than before. Now, if I made a mistake, I can undo that and get back to my imperfection, okay? So let me exit from here and get back into my recording screen. Again, we are still on the drum tracks. I can go back into my recording mode, and I can add maybe some percussion or something if I can find it. Again, this is just for me to show you exactly what we're doing here, okay? And I'm going to hit start, and after 4 bars, record. Here we go. Now, for this case, I am not going to quantize it any further. There was a conga, that was part of the conga that was slightly off. But again, I want to leave that human part of the error in there, okay? And you will see when I get the whole thing done why I'm doing this. So for now, I'm done with the drum track of pattern A. Pattern A, okay? Now, what more do I want to do? No matter what part of the world you come from, most songs, if not all of them, the fundamental is the drum and the bass. So if you notice, if you pay attention to your music and you really have to divide your time up, you know, you would want to focus more on the drum and the bass because that's the root of the song. And that's where the SD, which is super drum machine, really comes in, because the KETRON SD series are very, very well known for their great live authentic drum, bass, and now guitars and other natural instrumentation. So let's go now to the bass. I'm going to skip the groove track for now and I'll explain that later. I'm going to go now to my bass track. That's my bass track right there. Again, I'm going to go into my record mode. But before I do that, let me get out of there first because I want to see if that's the bass I want to work with, right? So I have octave values of my bass, and well, let me go back into record mode. This is my bass, and I also have the different fret noises, which when you know once you go out of the range of the natural instrument, what KETRON does is on the other keys they have the different nuances that are associated with that instrument, and so you have the different bends and the different sounds of the bass that are actually heard here as you perform. So I'm going to drop this now. I'm going to go down an octave because this is pretty high for a bass. Oh, sorry, down here. Okay, so once I'm in the recording mode, I have to use the settings on the screen right here. Let's see. Okay, so that's the lowest I can go. Okay, again, remember, you're dealing with an instrument that has multi-layered samples, right? Multi-layered sampling capabilities. So depending on how you trigger that note or how you play the note, that's what it's going to be able to use. You're going to be able to use to recall your sounds. I'm going to go ahead now and record the bass track. Now let's see, for the bass, for the parameters, I'm going to go in here to parameters. Everything is still fine. Velocity and octave, I can go back here to change the velocity value if I want to be able to reach out to even more velocity or less velocity. I can even change the octave layer as well, but this is fine for now for what I'm trying to do. So without much ado, let's try and record that bass sound. Maybe I want to change that sound. Let's see here. I'm going to go touch that for 2 seconds and let me see my bass. That's a warm bass. That sounds interesting because if you notice the slap bass, if I play soft, okay, I think I might just leave that one. It adds a lot more humanness to that, okay? So here we go. Slap bass is in position, volume's at 120, and we're in recording mode. Let's start the recording. Now let me try that. That second note would have been perfect, but the second one, I hit the note too hard, right? So I can choose to do one of two things. I want to delete just that particular note and see if I can fix that, right? So I'm going to hit the clear button. And it's asking you, do you want to clear everything or want to clear a particular note? This one is what I want to clear right here. All right. So I'm not going to try and clear everything. I want to clear just this particular note. So execute that. So if I get back out of there, see? That note, I want to re-record that. So now when I go back into my record, and I hit this, I'm going to play this a little bit more gentle because I don't want the slap, okay? That was my error before. Stuck it in there, huh? Oh, but you know what? This note appeared in 2 different parts of the song. So when I did that insert, it was done on the first part, but if you notice at the second part it wasn't there. So now let me go ahead and put it back in as well. So here we go. insert. I have to listen to make sure I put it in on the second one. There we go. So now if you listen to the whole thing, so the octave controls the real-time performance. You can hear how the song is coming up. We just have the drums in there, we have our bass, and we're testing along. That's the one good thing about this. I can test and have my ideas, because remember, when you write a song, you're inspired, right? And this is a very quick way to jot down before you lose it what you were inspired to play or to produce. So let's move on. I'm going to go now to the chord track, which could be your track one or whatever track you want to call it, your drum track, your bass track. Let's go into my chords. All right, this is my chord track. The default instrument there is the marked piano, but I might want to change that. So if I get back into my recording mode, light red. So I'm getting very, very excited here, okay? Let's put that volume a little bit louder, make that 110. Again, I can always clean this up later on. That's good, but let's say I want to change it to something else. Let me go in here and see, what else do I have in the electric piano category? Nah. Let's see, turn the wheel. Again, I have a whole boatload of stuff here, especially with the AjamSonic package installed. Gives me a lot more to play with. I want something that has a little bit more. The DX, okay. I guess for the sake of demonstration purposes, let's go with that, okay? There we go. So, again, I'm going to hit start. It's going to play back all the other tracks, and I'm going to add this one on there too. Okay, now if you notice, it's playing the measure and then it ends, okay? I can have it go into a loop if I wanted to, or I can have it just stop where it is. That way it gives me time to prepare and to set up for what I want to do next. So I'm going to leave that one for now, okay? So I've recorded into pattern A. I have my recording in here into pattern A. Now, for pattern B, C, and D, those are all going to be empty. If I press B right now and I hit start, B is empty, C is empty, and D is empty. For the sake of time and to show you more stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to record in these guys from scratch. I'm going to copy from pattern A to pattern B, and then I'm going to build upon pattern B, okay, to see what I can do to pattern B to make it different from the other one. So I'm going to go in here, pattern A. Let me go ahead and save this for now. You always want to save your work as you go in sequence, in order, just in case something were to happen and you lose power. You don't want to lose everything you have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and it's called demo song. Yes, I'm going to overwrite that. Yes. So now we have this demo song, and it has just my pattern A. I'm going to go into here where it says copy and export. And what I want to do is I want to go to my source. Where do you want to copy from? It's going to be the user location, okay? And I will talk about that later. So it's going to go from the user location. It's going to be in the family of ballads. That's where my original content resided in, and we'll talk about that later. The style name is demo song, and I'm going to go in here and look for that. Demo song right there, okay? So I'm going to go to my source, which is in the user location, ballad, demo song, section A, call it pattern A, and it here says bass, all right? So I want to copy everything. I'm going to go to all. I want to copy everything I've done in A, in section A, to Like same source, that's the destination. This is my destination over here. Again, demo song, but I don't want to go into A because it's going to be nothing, right? I want to go into section B. It says arranger B here for those of you who are using that as an arranger, but we're going to call it pattern B, okay? I'm going to copy from pattern A to pattern B, all the parts, okay, from A to B. And remember I told you before you could export that as a MIDI file, and then you can have different A, dot mid, B dot mid, C dot mid, and you can further enhance that in your DAW. So that's for a later discussion. So I'm going to copy from A to B all the parts. I'm going to hit execute. So now if I go to arranger A and I hit this, or sorry, pattern A, if I go to pattern B, now the bass is having that little note that's coming in just before. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and quantize that bass again, all right? But that's going to be down the line. Let's move on. So now I am in B, okay? I'm going to get out of here and go back to my recording. So everything that I've done in A has now been brought over to B. Remember, A is not yet done, but that's what I have in A. That's what I have in B. So now in B, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start spicing things up a little bit. For example, I'm going to go into my drum track, okay? And I'm going to enhance the drums a little bit more in the B right now. So before I had just the straight kick, snare, and the hi-hats and the congas. But what I want to add here maybe is, let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking for, yeah, here we go. There we go. Let's try that. Start. Made some mistakes over there. I want to clear this guy, execute, and I want to clear this guy, execute. And I'm going to do that again. I wasn't too happy what I did. But hey, that's what happens when you're in the studio, right? There we go. Pattern B, I'm going to lower the volume of that DX piano because I want to add something here as well. I want to add some strings. I'm going to go into, let me go to track number 2, okay? I'm going to see, I'm going to make that a little bit louder. And let's try and see what we get, okay? See how the song is coming through, right? I'm building it up and up, but this is just, again, to give you an example, right? Now, let's see what I want to do. I'm going to go into, let me go to this track. I'm just going to ignore that one for now. Strings, let's see what we want to do with the strings. Again, a little bit lower, just something that's going to be subtle and holding the bottom there, okay? Here we go. Was clashing, so right there you don't need to go ahead. I'm going to hit clear, and in this case I want to clear the entire track, right? because I don't even want to bother about having to hit the notes and go one by one by one by one. I want to clear all. So I'm going to hit execute. That whole track is being cleared. So if I hit start, it's gone. So again, I'm doing this intentionally because I want to show you how to use the different functions that you're seeing displayed on your screen. Okay, I'm going to exit and get back to my tracks. So let's see, should I really record anything in that? It might just be too much, right? Maybe I'll try and get the accordion guys a little bit excited. How about we go to accordion and we're going to add something in there. Oh, forgot to get into my record mode first. Too high. Let's see, that's the Mosaic. Then I'm going to go in, let's see, Bandunian. Something a little bit lower, French. Here we go. Okay, so for all my accordion friends, this is for you. Here we go. So that again is what we have in pattern A, pattern B, okay? Pattern C, there's nothing in there. We did not record anything. So I'm going to copy from pattern B to pattern C because, or really no, I'm going to copy from A to C because A had the basic stuff, okay? And I'm going to go into C and maybe I want to enhance C a little bit different, okay? So as you're building your song, this could be your verse, that could be your chorus, this could be your vamp, that could be your outro, or you could use the intro and outros that are here. So really you have access to 4, 5, 6, 7 patterns. Now most songs have like just 3 or so, 3, sometimes even 4, but I can actually use this and have 7 patterns so that when I'm playing back, all I have to do is just go back from pattern to pattern as I'm playing my song, and then I can add my parts, okay? That's the whole idea. For those who use the workstation, for those who create songs, and those who play live on stage, who are used to the pattern-based sequencer, this is how you would use that on the SD7. And the good thing about this, as opposed to having your DAW or your laptop, is the quick access on stage. If you're performing on stage, once I load the song, all the pattern parts are loaded automatically. Now, the good thing about this also is that, guess what? The hardware is built for being used on stage or in the studio. So I have direct access. I'm not going through pages and pages and looking for the song and doing that. No, no, no. Once I get on the stage, I load the song up. I hit 1, I hit 2, I hit 3, 4. In this case, A, B, C, D, and I perform my song live. So let's move on. I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to go into my copy export screen. And what I want to do, again, I did arranger A to B. That was my last copy, which is stored on here. I want to go now from arranger A to C. I'm going to go down to C. So pattern A to pattern C, all the parts. I'm going to go ahead and hit execute. And when I get done, I should have stuff in C right now. So B has that. So A and C are now the same. They're now identical, right? Pattern C. So let me get out of here. I'm going to record in pattern C. And the only thing I'm going to add in pattern C, not to make it too busy, is probably going to be horns. I'm going to go to, let's see, this track right here. I never used that before. I didn't use it yet. Let's touch and hold that. And I'm going to go to my horn section. And it's going to be over here in brass. And let's go to brass section. Pretty low right now because of the volume here, the default volume. I'm going to take that up. So, there we go. Let's try this. That sounds good. Let's try that. in this case, I want to, even though you see I'm almost maxing out of my volume, I have some more room in my velocity. I'm going to go into that velocity and I'm going to beef that up, okay? And we're going to go to about that. Now let's try it out. Yeah, and I'll get that bite and everything. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now, but you have the idea, okay? So that's the idea for you to record. And I'm going to hit save as demo song, okay? Already exists. You want to override? Yes. We always keep on saving as we're moving forward. So now, for those guys who are building the pattern, if I get out of here, right? Remember, we're using the style technology, the arranger technology, but we're applying that now for the pattern-based sequencer, those who use the workstation to create their patterns. So if I go here, okay, the category, if you notice, again, the ballad user. Remember when I was copying the style parts from A to B and I was asking you, where do you want to copy from? From the factory, which would have been this guy, or from the user, which is what we created. So we have user, ballad, and demo song is in there. So for those of you who are using this as a pattern-based sequencer, you're going to get rid of all these styles. You're going to be using actual songs. This will be your song. So if I select that, that will be my song, and it will load all the different patterns that pertain to that particular song. If I like Imagine or Hey Jude, these are going to be all my songs, okay? No longer styles because of how they were programmed. So if I go here to demo song, guess what? I just loaded demo song in less than a second, okay? So when I'm on stage and I want to go ahead and perform this and play this particular piece, all I have to do is arranger A, hit start. And so long as I leave it there, the vamp keeps on playing by itself. Nothing changes, okay? Now B. Okay, I see some guys smiling already and scratching their heads. Yeah, I know you want one. I know you want one, but don't touch that button yet. Let's go now into phase 2 of this video, right? Now, you could say, yeah, but I can do this on another product. That's true, okay? You have to ask yourself if it will sound like this, if it will give you that live feel. But we're going to throw a curveball at you. We're going to add audio to your mix, okay? So don't fall off your chair just yet. We're going to add audio into this bad boy, all right? So remember in the beginning I told you I'm not a very good drummer, but this drum track that we did here is acceptable, okay, for the most part. So that sounds okay, but I want to do it even better, okay? The KETRON SD9 comes with a whole bunch of live drums, a whole bunch of live audio drums, right? So I'm going to replace my mechanical drums with an audio drum on the different tracks. So remember, I can go back here. This is what I'm going to be doing when I'm playing live, right? I'm going to say pick a saxophone. I'm going to hit start. I just made a song up right there. Oh, SD9. Oh, SD9. So you see, it's getting very, very interesting. I have not gone to the studio. I have not paid for any other musicians because KETRON and AjamSonic did that for me. I'm pretty much retrieving all the content that is in here, but I'm arranging it for it to suit my music and my style. So, sorry I got sidetracked there. I was already beginning to enjoy myself. So, how do we spice this up? I'm going to go into pattern A, right? And I want to enhance what's in pattern A. I'm going to now go into the live modeling. And if you notice the live drums, these are all my tracks. So in pattern A, pattern B, pattern C, pattern D. Pattern A, these are all the access to the tracks that I use in pattern A, right? Remember that. That's my acoustic drum. But I want to use the live drum. Now, the live drum track is going to be coming from the machine, right? But the live drum is synchronized with the Midi. So I'm going to replace my drum, or I can use it side by side. That doesn't really matter, right? And I'll show you some tricks right here too. So let's go to the live drum track. I'm going to touch that and hold that for 2 seconds, and it gives me this. Now, which track do I want to add to my song? I want to say this is more like an R&B pop. So I'm going to scroll down here and look for, let's see, PQ R&B. Let's see, rock and roll. Live. Let's try the 135 and see how that sounds. Let me turn off my track. So if you look at the tracks, the ones that are armed are red, right? So these are the ones that are on. If I do this, it goes off. So this is my original drum track, and this is the new one I'm trying to add there. Not quite. I'm going to touch and hold that again, and I'm going to go back and pick another one. Let's pick this one, R&B blues. See how that sounds. Nah, I can already tell that's not what I'm looking for. Where am I? Let's see. R&B, this one over here. And by the way, the numbers tell you the tempo, right? Because these are audio files. These are the original BPM, the original tempo at which the drums were recorded at. Sorry. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Okay, let me see what else I have in there. Hey, let's see if I go to this rock over here. Let's try that and see what happens. No, definitely not. So this is what you're doing at home, right, or your studio. You're trying out all of these different combinations in the hope that you're going to find something that comes very, very close to what you're looking for. Okay? I think I did that one before. Let me see. I'm going to pick something else. Nope. Let's try this one. I guess I can live with that one for now, right? Yeah. I guess I never heard that. I didn't hear the hi-hat before. So good. This is what I'm looking for. So remember, if I combine them both, it kind of sounds Fuji. Okay? So what am I going to do? I'm going to show you a little trick after this. But this is what I'm doing. I just added a live drum to that track. And I can say to myself, let's see. I'm going to go in there and add, let's see. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me show you the trick right now. So this is the drummer, right? Remember we did the drum, we had the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, and some congas, right? Well, guess what? I have a live drummer here, which is the audio. So I'm going to go to my drum track. I'm going to go back to view, leave that on for now. So they're both playing, okay? I'm going to go to view. I'm going to go to my drum mixer. And this is one of the very few machines that can allow you to do this, right? So in my drum mixer, I'm going to mute the tracks that I put in. So I don't have 2 kicks and 2 snares, all right? So I can do right there. Now you're hearing the kick of the live drum. Mine is out. Also, I want to mute the snare that I did. So what am I left with? I'm left with my hi-hat and my my congas, my percussion. But I'm going to say to myself, no, maybe I'm not going to mute that. I'm going to turn this down, just, well, turn the kick volume to 0, turn my snare a little bit lower because I have a little crash in there that I want to keep, right? See? So that's my snare and the rim shot from the live drummer that I'm combining in real time right here. And then my hi-hat, I'm going to turn that one down. No, I'm going to keep it up. And my cymbal, I'm going to turn that guy down. I'm going to rely on the cymbal from the live audio drum. Let's listen to just the drums. Again, I guess my hi-hat is a little bit off. So I'm going to turn my volume of my hi-hat low, not totally off. Okay, that's good. So now, let's see how it sounds. Oh, I forgot to show you something. So remember, I just did an adjustment right here. You see single? That adjustment was done just in that particular pattern, right? But what if, and not even what if, what I should have done was, because I want to apply that adjustment to all my patterns, I should have gone into global, okay? So now when I go to my drum mixer, whatever changes I do in here, making it 0, okay? and making this one 8, all right, and bringing this one to 0, when I go to all the other parts, watch, they all remain the same. Otherwise, I would have had to have gone in single, do the adjustment in this one, and then come back and do the adjustment here and here and here, all right? And sometimes you may want the adjustment to vary. Let's just, for the sake of the demonstration, in B, I want to make the hi-hat clash with mine. I'm going to make it a little bit louder, okay, just to make it. So if I go here, you see the hi-hat volume is 9. If I go there, it's 13. Everywhere else is going to be 9, okay? Again, pattern-based sequencing, okay? The way it was meant to be. The way the folks back in those days wrote music. You were thinking about the sections, this and this and this and this. You were not thinking about the whole idea of leniency, which is now what the modern music is. You know, when you talk about cutting samples and just looping versus creating music from scratch. So this is taking you back to the days when you could create music without having to be a computer engineer, without having to use laptops and computers and all have you, even though technically speaking, there is a computer built in here, right? But that's been overly emphasized already. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. So let me go back into phase 3 now, which is, you know, the mixing of the whole thing and putting it all together. So we have in A, B. Now watch what happened. What did happen? I loaded a drum loop, okay? I loaded that drum loop in here, but it applied to all of them. That loop comes with the variation for the different parts. So let me just turn off the drums for a second so you can hear the difference. This is an audio drummer that we put in here, but I don't have to put it here and here and here and all the other parts, because by loading that particular fault, that particular audio drum, it comes with the different segments for the different parts automatically. So A sounds like that. B C and in D we have nothing in D, but we have drums in there, right? We never recorded in D, but we have the drums in there because when I loaded that audio loop, it brought with it all the different parts and different sections. Now, what am I hearing here that sounds weird in my ears? There's too much reverb, right? I'm going to go into my reverb category, and I'm going to bring down the reverb of my percussion and drums and grooves and everything else. And I'm going to do that globally, all right? So no more. Beautiful. Okay, get out of there. Get back to my normal screen. I can go to my panning. I can pan the different parts, okay, the different tracks I did. Remember, for each pattern, each one has its own parameters and its own effects and its own values you can set for each of them, okay, when you're making your song. So I think we've pretty much covered most of it. This is just a scratch, all right? And I'm going to go ahead now and go back to live modeling and see what more I can add in this regard. I added a live drum already. Let me see if I can find a guitar, a live guitar strum I can add in there. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my guitar section. I'm going to go into my electric. Let me see if I can do an electric guitar and see how that's going to sound if I do this. The live guitar is getting me excited in there. Now, for that guitar, you can notice that the volume is a little bit low. The red tells you what is selected. So right now, whatever I'm doing in terms of volume and effects and that kind of stuff is working on this particular track. So I'm going to go to the volume of that guitar, and I'm going to turn it up just a little bit just to bring it out so it kind of cuts through the mix. I'm going to take out the reverb from that live guitar. There's just too much reverb going on in there. Speaking of reverb, let me see what other tracks have a lot of reverb in there. Let's see, this one. No, that was fine. My drum track, how about that? Yeah, that was also on 0. Okay, how about my groove? I didn't put anything in the groove, but that's on 17. That's okay, that's fine. So remember when we were loading stuff before with the groove track, okay, I can either add it here or I can add it in the view, but I'm going to do it here. We have nothing. We didn't record a groove. I'm going to go in here and go to my groove table, and I'm going to see if I can add some things. You know, I can hear shakery or something, congas or something, because these are all live tracks, okay? I could have done my own, but I don't know how much better I would have sounded if I had done mine versus just coming in here, for example, and picking a tambourine or something, a similar groove. You hear that? turn it off, turn it on. So normally groove, I'm going to go in A. In B, I'm going to use, let's say in A, I'm not going to use a tambourine, because remember my A, I want to keep it simple, for example. So nah, just leave it alone. I'll just leave that one off. But when I go to B, yes, I'm going to go, or sorry, C, where it gets a little bit busy. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a groove, and I do definitely want to add some clapping tambourine or something in there. Let's go here, tambourine. I'm going to do this one, okay? There we go. And in B, maybe I want to add maybe just a hand clap, okay? I'm going to go in here to the clap category. I want to do a clap, that's a 4/4 clap. Let's try that. Anyway, you get the idea. So now I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save as demo song. My demo song is complete because now I'm going to do all my parts. So when you get on stage and you turn the machine on, you're going to be at a page like this, okay? So this default has your styles. In your case, you didn't program styles in here. You program your songs, and you can recall them at the touch of a button, depending on which category you stored your songs in. In this particular case, we stored ours in the ballad category, user style, and so that's where we're going to go, okay? And I'm going to go in there and load demo song, just to show you what I'm talking about. If I go in here and load that, that's the first pattern, okay? That's for Imagine. Imagine all the people, you know, these are all the different patterns for the song Imagine. All right, our demo song is going to be here. We're going to go to pattern A. Okay, this DX piano is a little bit too loud. I'm going to go back in there, bring it down. Black guitar, bring it down a little bit. Okay, so go to B. Effects, I want to add, let's see, what effect do I want to add on my horn? I want to add delay on the horns. Pick up delay. Or let's pick something very interesting, auto pan, alright? Listen to your speakers now. If you have stereo speakers, you should hear the panning automatically going back and forth, from left to right and back and left, right on the brass alone. Okay, so I just added an effects in there again just to show you what you can do with this machine. Now I'm going to hit save again. I'm going to save as demo song. Yes, it already exists. Override. Yes. So I catch myself going in deeper and deeper and deeper, but now I'm done. Okay, done. So I get to my stage, I turn the machine on, I look for my song, this demo song, I load it up. That's what I have right now. I'm going to start with pattern A. Okay, so now I can pick my lead voices and do whatever I want to do, because whatever I'm doing on my keyboard, I go to pianist mode. The whole entire keyboard now is for me to play. Okay. So guess what? I don't have to worry about arranger, changing of styles. No, no, no. I am now going to perform on stage this song, which we're going to call demo song. A 1, a 2, a 3. Why am I even doing that? Just count it in for 1, 2, 3. change voice. Live drum, live guitar, all done in under 30 minutes. Only drums. You get the idea, right? We just did a song. You and I just did a song in a matter of what, 30 minutes or less. And once you get familiarized with the machine, it'll actually probably take you even less time. But I was trying to go steady and repeat some things and show you some things so you know exactly what those functions are. Now remember, in the beginning of this video, I told you that you want to start the recording slow so you can get all the parts in. Well, now that you've gotten the song where you want it to be, I can now adjust the tempo in real time for all the patterns. Alright? I can do drums and fills. Pattern 1. B. And guess what? I can control in real time the pattern parts. Oh, here we go. Put the bass back in, huh? Right? Take out those chord tracks. Remember, right now I'm on stage performing live. And there you go. So we just created a song and we had 3 out of 7 patterns that were recorded. Okay. So again, sorry it was a lengthy video, but this was to show you how you can actually create patterns, pattern-based sequencing. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to create styles, and maybe we can touch upon that here real quick, okay? Because really we've gone through everything to create a style. The difference is that when you create patterns, okay, the progression when you record the parts, the A, B, and C, the different patterns, you record those parts exactly as you want them to sound. So the chord changes are included in your recording. So let me go back here for my arranger guys now, okay? Everything we just discussed is the same. The difference is on the technique of recording. So let's go back here, and I'm going to go back here and go to edit. Let's go back to the style, right? Remember, in A, we had recordings, and B and C, and D, nothing but the live drum. So let's look at that particular song. How would I record that song as a style? So in this case, pattern D, this is now for the arranger guys. Those of you that play the arranger, the styles, okay? I'm going to record pattern D as a style. pattern A, B, and C, what we did so far, we recorded them as a pattern. You know, in other words, we have the sequence within the pattern already programmed. For a style, because we want the style to follow the machine, I'm going to show you how you record your style. So I'm going to use the D as an example, okay? So the drums will be pretty much simple. Nothing happens, the drums are the same, right? What about the bass line? Okay. Remember that when we did the bass before, it was like a, well, the octave is down. So you have to think about this. We're going to record this in the key of C, right? So you have to think about all your notes in the key of C, because when you change the chord, it's going to change the notes for you. So that bass line will be something like this. Okay, because I want the arranger to change it when I play the chords. So it takes a while to think about it, to think through how you're going to record the bass line, but and all the other parts that have tonalities. Okay, here we go. So again, this is for the guys who are going to use this as a style, okay? For those of you who are using this as a pattern bass, we're done already. This is for the arranger guys. And the only difference is in how you program, in how you do the parts. So I think I made a mistake and I hit this by accident. I'm going to clear this note, this particular note right here, execute. Now let's hear my bass track. So that's my bass note, right? Remember, I'm trying to get to that's the bass in there, right? My song. But remember, for a style, I have to program it in a fixed key, because when I do this, these are the actual notes I program, because when I start playing, what's the difference between style programming and pattern programming? For a style, the bass line will sound like this. In the same key of E, the same key, all right? But when you're doing pattern-based programming, when you want to ignore the chord changes, this is what the pattern-based programmer will program. So you will program the exact notes with the exact chord changes the way you see fit. A person that's making a style will program it like this, so that when they play the chords, they can change along with it. And now what's the advantage? If I do it this way, I can choose to change it, arrange it something else, right? I can play a different song with this. But when you do it the other way, every time you program a pattern, it's meant for that specific song and that's it. But when you program as a style, it's flexible enough where if I input my chord changes, I am the one in control. And that's true for all the parts, right? So again, the key is you program it in the same key, all right? Alright, so now I just did that for the bass. Let's do the one more track, a piano track, right? And I'm just going to do something, you know, again, in the key of C, just to give you an idea of what you're supposed to do, alright? Here we go. Okay, so this is what you program. You see, you program in one fixed key, so that when you play the style, and that means I can in real time do a variation. Right? That's how you program a style for the most part. You do that for all the different parts. Everything I've said so far still works for the same, it still follows the same procedure. The difference is in how you program the notes. So we're going to save that, save as demo, yes. And I'm going to hit that already exists. You want to continue? Yes. All right. So what have I done so far? We're going to go ahead and do something crazy here. So really speaking, my first three parts have my patterns, pattern A, pattern B, pattern C, and in pattern D, I actually program the style, okay? So if I'm playing my song, if I get out of this mode and get out of here, if I play my song, I got a guitar, I can play freely, okay? Whatever I want to do, I can go to here, go to my strings. Pattern B is C is the same thing. I'm playing my song. Now pattern D, I can stop. I'm playing a style. Some mistakes in there I can fix them later on, so just to give you an idea. Here we go. Style, I can play whatever I want. Pattern. So you see there's a lot of flexibility. I can decide to program these strictly by the song and then program this guy as a style, okay? And that's what we've done in some of the AjamSonic styles, but it's the reverse. We program the first three as styles, and we program the D as riff, as a progression built in, so that you can actually hit that button and have the possibility to freestyle and free play. So if you like that video, stay tuned, there's more coming up, but I'm sorry again about the length, but we had to do that detailed video to exactly express and show what the machine is capable of doing. We want to apologize for any mistakes or errors that were done. Again, we can only do what we can do as human beings, right? So, without much ado, this is AJ signing off. Let me rush down to the man show and see what's going on over there. So, ciao.